host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you can give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed, thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me once again. I thank you in advance. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,600 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, week 1 in the books, right? A free agency. You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Now, of course, things it starts dying down a little bit, but there's always that every year. There's always some of the top guns that maybe don't go right away, right? And as we're finding that out with the Giants, right? There are still some top guys out there that the Giants are, have some interest in. We're gonna go over that as we go along. The first portion of our program here, and one guy just God darn Mr. Rodgers' neighborhood, right? You can understand. I don't know how long it's been going on for, because I'm too much of an idiot to remember, but it seems like every year for the past, I don't know what, 500, 600 years, Aaron Rodgers at the end of the season. What's going on? How you doing? I'm doing good. What's up for next year? I don't know. I got to see what's going on, how I feel, this, that, that. It like just drags on and on and on. It's like, I don't know. We got to go back to his rookie season or something. Hey, Aaron, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't wait to get out there on the field next year and play some football. It doesn't seem like that anymore. However, it's always it's like a soap opera, right? With them. So, I can also understand where he's kind of coming from. He's trying to, what's best for him. Obviously he wants to get paid, but sometimes it does get a little, you can go throughout time all the sports, right? Sometimes the guys are coming to the end, and it's just, when's it time to retire? Now he can still sling it. He had, amazingly, he had I think it was 28 and 11 last year. 28 touchdown passes, 11 interceptions. I don't know. When was the last time the Giants threw 28 touchdown passes in a season? I don't know. I think Abraham Lincoln was in office. It's been a while, so 28 is pretty good, But, it didn't end well with the Jets. Does he want to go someplace else and fizzle? So I can understand, right? But he is certainly holding things up here for the Giants. Now, apparently, I don't know if they're waiting on him to finally shoot the Giants down and say, I'm retiring, I'm going to Pittsburgh, I'm going to Minnesota, I'm not going to, and then they kind of maybe go to Russell Wilson. Kind of interesting. When Russell came in, was there anything at all? Of course, you'll never know, right? When Shane was down there talking to him and this, that, and then Russell, we are waiting on Aaron Rodgers. And then if he shoots us down, we'll come calling you. Did anything like that happen? Who knows, right? But where are we at here? You kind of figure, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of become more like a comedy routine, a sideshow or whatever you want to call it, right? But there's a couple articles here, I said, why do Giants need to exit gracefully from the Aaron Rodgers waiting game? Because also, as I said, I can certainly understand his point of view. I get it. But, he's got to understand, some of these teams need to kind of, what's going on. The Giants don't need, just a quarterback. They need two quarterbacks, right? Now, the thing is also like with Aaron Rodgers, if he's going to go to, Minnesota, right? You sit down and talk to them or whatever. It's like, he's got to say, the first time I throw an interception, we're not going to have McCarthy on the sideline warming up throwing balls, are we? We're not, right? Right? It might be the same thing here, right? If we're going to pick a quarterback early, just saying, if one's there or whatever, right? So we pick 1 and 3. Aaron Rodgers is going to want to, go up to Dave's or Shane and say, hey, first time I throw an incomplete pass, we're not going to have Shedeur Sanders warming up on the sideline, are we? Getting ready to come in, right? So, he also knows, I'm sure, if he goes with the Vikings, he's, just going to be like a torch holder, I guess, for the J.J. McCarthy experience. But I did see something, and I'll tell you what, it was pretty funny. It was kind of comical. Right? Brett Favre, right? Played with the Packers. Then where did he go after that? The Jets. Where did he go after that? Minnesota, right? Aaron Rodgers started off with the Packers. Where did he go after that? The Jets. What team's he trying to maybe get on now? The Vikings, right? Minnesota, right? Pretty kind of comical, right? So, I said, but it, the Giants, they, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I would rather have, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball than maybe Russell Wilson, right? But Russell Wilson came in, sat down, talked to you and all of that, and, sat down man to man, was ready to maybe sign, maybe. And he left, and now you're waiting on Aaron, right? So, plus, Russell Wilson is certainly a little bit younger. I'm just spewing things at it. Aaron Rodgers is only going to give you, you would have to sign it for maybe, I think he wants 2 years, right? If the Giants would want somebody just for 1 year, don't know. But. This is from Patty Trainer. She does a very nice job. Giants have done a lot to upgrade the roster through the first week of free agency, but they're yet to address what General Manager Joe Schoen called the most important position on a team, most important position in all sports, the quarterback. Quite honestly, it's their own fault. The Giants, who came close to landing Matthew Stafford of the Rams in a trade, having met the trade compensation and the money, only to learn at the 11th hour that Stafford felt that there was no place like home, have since turned their attention Aaron Rodgers. Remember, Rodgers was reportedly the one who contacted the Giants once the Jets permitted him to speak with their other teams just before the start of the combine. Now, once again, maybe his agent reached out to the Giants. Was there some interest, right? Or did they call up the Giants and say, Aaron Rodgers called, yo, Joe, sign me, I'm yours. Was it like that? Or are they just kind of putting feelers out, right? The Jets are letting us go. Aaron just wants to know would there be any interest in the, So, but any intrigue Rodgers might have initially had about joining the Giants has since been put on the back burner to simmer. This is because the now ex-Jets quarterback who has reportedly had discussions with the Steelers, is waiting to see if the Vikings, who lost Sam Darnold in free agency to the Seahawks, will come calling. The Giants, instead of putting a hard deadline on Rodgers for an answer like they should do, they appear to be still waiting for Rodgers to deliver an answer, despite the Giants having had discussions this week with Joe Flacco and Russell Wilson. With free agency about to enter the second wave this week, maybe the Giants should make the decision for Rodgers and gracefully bow out of the mix for his services instead of continuing to play the waiting game. Giants are sitting there and waiting for a guy who reportedly is waiting to see if the Vikings might want him. And that same report from The Athletic claims that if the Vikings don't want him, Rodgers just might end up retiring, and I wouldn't blame him, right? Or showing a tinge of desperation, which other free agents could potentially look to use in driving up their prices. But more importantly, in waiting for Rodgers to decide, the Giants risk losing Wilson, probably their next best option if they don't get Rodgers, to another team, which would leave them up a creek without a paddle. There's also, they got Flacco. 2 years ago with the Browns, he did very, very well, but he's somebody you're going to need, you're going to need to protect the guy. And sometimes that's the Giants' problem, especially with their offensive line. The offensive line didn't do too badly in the beginning of last season, but then, of course, the injury bug bit the Giants' offensive line. And, then they won it with 10 different starting offensive line units, and tough to get a good cohesion going. And so Flacco, I'm sure, could still be productive and throw the ball and all that stuff, but you're going to need to protect the dude, So, but it's it does seem like the Giants are kind of dead if they're waiting to hear from Rodgers. All right, so it's time for the Giants to sign Russell Wilson and be done with the Aaron Rodgers nonsense. Giants are just fooling themselves as they wait on Aaron Rodgers. Perhaps the time has come for Giants to stop fooling themselves in their desperate pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, get Russell Wilson's name on a contract, and be done with their seemingly flailing effort to sign a veteran quarterback. If that is, the Giants haven't already blown that opportunity by letting Wilson leave their building on Friday without signing a contract. It's time for Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll to be realistic. Matthew Stafford was never coming to the Giants in their desperation to find a big-name quarterback who could help them keep their jobs. Schoen and Daboll allowed the Giants to be used by Stafford in an effort to get the deal Stafford ultimately wanted and got from the Rams. Now the Giants are waiting and waiting and waiting. Some of the attention-loving Rodgers to make a decision, and he does. It seems like he likes that. They said it's always like, at the end of every season, it's never fail, and it's like as I said, it's always like however many past seasons. It's the last few years he was with Green Bay. What's going on next season? I don't know. I got to take it. Let me just take a good, deep look at myself. Look at the future. Just sit down and reflect. Think about it. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to go. I don't know. Just don't know. Might take me a few months. I'm not sure. Every year when he was with the Packers, and it's like the Jets. It's always he seems like he likes that. He likes the attention, right? They got this team waiting for me. Got that team waiting for me. Yes, I love it. You know what I mean? The most recent reporting from The Athletic is that Rodgers wants the Vikings if they want him. Why would Rodgers choose the 3-14 last year Giants and the 9-25 the last two season Giants, right? The Vikings ultimately decide they don't want to keep delaying the J.J. McCarthy era. The Athletic is reporting that Rodgers just might say no thanks to both the Giants and the Steelers and retire. Now, the Steelers, obviously, for the most part, they're going to have a winning record, right? Now, you can't say they're going to, I don't know how far they're going to go in the playoffs. If they're going to, because with Tomlin, it just, Tomlin, he gets you to the playoffs. He gets you a winning record, but then the past, I can't remember the last time the Pittsburgh won a playoff game. It's been almost like 10 years. Almost every year they get a winning record, get to the playoffs, and then fizzle out. So, right. I'm not sure I believe that. Why, though, would Rodgers turn down the Steelers, a playoff team, more often than not? That is coached by Mike Tomlin for the Giants, unless the Giants throw ridiculous money at Rodgers, which they should not do. I can't give you a good reason Rodgers would choose the Giants. Wilson or not, it never has been quite the players that Rodgers is still capable of being. He's still far superior to anyone the Giants had a quarterback last season. He seems to want the New York, New Jersey market. Wilson is said to be ready to sign, but how long will he be willing to play second fiddle while the Giants and Steelers wait on Rodgers? Good point. Wilson give the Giants what they need, a better quarterback play that they have had the past couple of years, and someone who seems willing and able to help mentor a young quarterback for the future. Right? Giants just need to stop the Rodgers foolishness and get Wilson's name on a contract. Now, let's not forget, right? I mean, Wilson came in last year too, right? And he left. So, I don't know. Gonna be fun. I mean, it's like a soap opera, right? I mean, the Giants. There's always a ton of quarterbacks out there, but I mean, after some of them wind up getting scoffed up. I mean, what are we gonna do? Bring back Drew Lock again? We're gonna have Drew Lock. We're gonna have Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan and maybe draft a quarterback. So. I mean, the Giants have done a decent job so far, and with in the free agency, right? But it's like they've done everything but sign a quarterback, though. I mean, they brought Tommy Chicken Cutlet back, but we need a quarterback. And after a while, I mean, it's going to get a little old after a while, just waiting for Aaron Rodgers, because the guy does love the attention, right? Teams are waiting on me, right? It's like what he's doing. He's taking all those teams that passed over him, right, when he got drafted, right, and he got picked 24th or 25th or whatever it was. He's like still holding a grudge over all those teams, right? But on some good news here, right? Mr. Johnson is on the mend. That's good. That's good. Really, really good. Apparently, he's able to start running. That's really good. Now, he was, in the beginning last year, I think he had 3 receptions after the first. I got to find it here. To the first 4 games. Is that it? Yeah. First game of the season, he had 1 catch against the Vikings on 4 targets. Against Washington, the kickerless game, right? He had no targets, obviously no receptions. Then he had with Cleveland, he had 3 targets, he had 1 reception, and against Dallas, he had 1 reception on 1 target. So in the first 4 games, he caught 3 passes on 8 targets. But after that, he had 5 against Seattle. He had 3 against Cincinnati. He had 3 against Pittsburgh, 3 catches against Washington, 4 against Carolina, 3 against Tampa Bay, and the game that he got injured in, 5 catches on 5 targets against Dallas. Okay, then he got injured. So, he did get shut down. The Eagles shut when we lost 28-3. He had no targets, nothing. So obviously no catches there. But you look, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the final 8 games, he had 26 catches. So the final 8 games, he averaged a little over 3 receptions a game. So he certainly was ascending. That is for sure. Where are we at here? If you go by that rate, he was on a nice pace, to do some receptions. He was going to average, maybe about on an average about 4 touchdowns. So with the Giants tight end, Theo Johnson seemed to be on his way toward a solid rookie season before a foot injury dashed any hopes of a breakout. The 4th-round pick suffered a Lisfranc injury during the Thanksgiving Day game against the Cowboys, which effectively ended his rookie season before it had a chance to truly get going. At the time of his injury, his role was expanding as he began to take over the tight end position in the Giants' offense. Now, you also kind of wonder, too, right, is how much would he have been, on the field if Waller was still in playing. Now, I'm sure Johnson would have got some playing time, but those snaps that Johnson had were invaluable. Actually, in the long run, it was probably best that Waller, right, because they'd be taking snaps away from Johnson, and Johnson is going to be hopefully, right, the tight end for a long time for the Giants, right? Waller was just a torch holder. He was just supposed to be here for just a couple seasons, right? So I want to be invested that Waller retired, right? So we got our 4th-round pick, right? Got a lot of playing time, which wound up being really good. Though Johnson missed the final 5 games of the season, he's already moving around and has been cleared to run, per Ryan Dunleavy of the New York Post. So that's good. Giants entered the offseason with a tight end room that has decent overall depth, even if it's a bit uninspiring. Yeah, I'd say I'm not overly inspired, right? Behind Johnson on the depth chart is Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhertz, and Greg Dulcich. Johnson, a Penn State product, started 11 games during his rookie campaign, logging 29 receptions, 331 yards, and 1 touchdown. Those numbers don't jump off the page, but there was more promise as he was getting settled into his role. Over the final 4 games before his foot injury, Johnson recorded 15 receptions, 181 yards, and a touchdown. So on a 17-game pace that extrapolates, or pans out to be, 64 receptions, 769 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So, based on his final 4 games, which were, as I said, it says here, there we go. Final 4 games, he had 3 receptions against Washington. He had 4 against Carolina. He had 3 against Tampa Bay, and then he had 5 against Dallas. So, you can, even the game before that against the Washington game, he had 3 catches against Pittsburgh. He had 4 targets, 3 catches for 35 yards. So, whoops. His RAS score was just like off the freaking chart, absolutely off the chart. An elite athlete, Johnson has the makings of being an every down tight end. How he responds from the foot injury will be a key factor in his role for 2025, but it appears he's making positive development in that area. So that's good. Dying to see the guy back on the field. Let's see what we got. Where we go? Overall, now, according to PFF, right, his offensive grade was a 53.6. Now, in the beginning, okay, no, I can't share my screen. I've got this on a different. All right, but he graded out at 53.6 overall for the whole season. But the first week against Minnesota, he graded out a 42.5. Then against Washington, a 49. Cleveland, a 50.1. Dallas, the 4th week, a 49. Cincinnati graded out a 53. Against Philadelphia, when he had no catches, graded out a 43. So, he had 1 decent game against Seattle, graded out a 62.5. But the final, 5 games, okay? Once again, this is just PFF. That's all it is. His final 5 games, against Pittsburgh, he graded out a 64.7. Against Washington, 67.4. Carolina, 64.2. Tampa Bay, 58.9. And Dallas, the game he got injured in, 66.5. So the final 5 games, he graded out over a 60 in all but one. The Tampa Bay game, he graded out almost at a 59. His receiving grade for the whole season was a 55.7. But it was the same thing. The final 5 games, his receiving grade against Pittsburgh was a 66. It was a 63 against Washington, 66 against Carolina, 64 against Tampa Bay, and a 75.9 against the Cowboys. Let's see. His pass blocking wasn't too bad. I mean, he did pretty good. I mean, against Cincinnati, he graded out a 78. Philadelphia, the game he had no receptions, he graded out at an 81 as far as pass blocking. Pittsburgh, he graded out a 75. Washington, he graded out a 76. Carolina, he graded out a 52. But Tampa Bay graded out a 73. So his pass blocking has not been bad. I mean, he's a big dude. Not been bad. The final game against Dallas, his pass blocking was an 18.9. What the? I don't. Does it show? Doesn't. Oh wait. Let me. Can I get anything? Let me see here. Oh, it's receiving. Okay. Let's see. All right. Blocking, unblocking. Pass blocking. Okay. I don't know what the heck happened in the final game against the Cowboys. 18.9. Let's see here. I don't know. Pressures allowed. I don't know. But whatever it was, he did a pretty bad job pass blocking against the Cowboys, but for the most part, it wasn't too bad. So you can certainly see without question, Theo Johnson was, yo, what's up, Vinny G-Man? Vinny G-Man's in the house. What's up, Vinny? But, Theo, I mean, he was ascending. It seemed like during the beginning of the season when he was in there, didn't do super spectacular, but as the season wore on, he was getting more and more receptions. And according to PFF, his grades were getting better too, as well. So it was a shame that the Liz Frank injury sidelined him for the final 5 games of the season. But he got a bunch. What did he get? 4. No, that was. Let's see here. Here we go. I'm just trying to see how many snaps he got here all together. That was his pass blocking. All right, let's see offense here. Okay, PFF says it's 681 snaps. So 394 pass snaps. Let's see what we got. He had 63 pass blocking snaps and 224 run blocking snaps. So it's 700 snaps. So those snaps will be invaluable. Really, really invaluable for him. So that's good. So I mean, hopefully we got ourselves a real keeper. Absolutely. Just be interested to see what happens with Daniel Bellinger this season, right? We did bring back Manhurts, right? Apparently we still have Dulcich, so I have to wait and see. It's not the most inspiring tight end room, but it is what it is. If the Giants ever get this quarterback situation down, right? Maybe we can go out and maybe either draft, or you can draft another tight end this year, right? Who knows? Or we can go out in the free agent market maybe and bring in a tight end as well too, right? The one nice thing is that if we do draft like whatever, if we get a Sanders or if we get a Ward or something like that, you got the dude for 5 years on the cheap. That's if they keep the guy for 5 years, right? All right, so but the Giants keep adding, right? Very important, right? This is, a lot of the guys they're bringing in are not like, oh my God, this guy's an all-pro. This guy's a pro, this, that. But, they are, secretly building up their special teams, right? Because this guy is really, really good on special teams. Let me see if I can share screen. All right, let me see if I can pop it up here. I got 74,000. Yep. There we go. Okay, special teams. Okay, here we go. Now this is from last year. Okay, but I mean if you look here, right, it's special teams, right? They every year was with San Fran, right? The 76 special teams graded out at in last year 56.5, but a 73, a 69, and a 60, right? So last year he graded out a 76.6, which let me tell you is very, very good for special teams. He had a grand total 4 tackles, 1 assist. He had 1 missed tackle, but 184 snaps. It looks like he missed some time here because you got weeks 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 and 6 aren't here. And I'm not sure what week their bye week was. Week 9's not here. You got 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 aren't here. So he missed some games, right? But still, I mean, this 76 is very impressive. A lot of times after each game is over, after each Giants loss is over, shall I say, right? On Monday, usually Monday night, I'll go over the team grades according to PFF, the offensive, the defensive, and the special teams grades. Now, each week there's about 30 different guys that play special teams. And when I go over their grades for that particular game, almost half of them grade out at like a 60. That seems to be like the middle, I don't want to say the Mendoza line, but like the middle of the, right? If you want to grade out lower than a 60, that's really not very good. A lot of guys grade out like a 60, 61 or somewhere around there, but you grade out in the 70s on special teams. That's pretty impressive, okay? But, so you see, but you'll notice that, see the 7, oh, I shrunk it down there. See the 76 here, that's very, very good, okay? But what's not very, very good is we go to this. We go to defense, okay? So this is not, see, you don't like to see a lot of red and orange. So you see a lot of red, to me, that's like blood. That's not good, right? That's like you're dying, right? Well, see, last year he graded out at a 30 on defense. And then once again, he only had 151 snaps, right? He played middle linebacker and weak side linebacker, okay? But, 30. His run defense is a 42. His tackling was a 27. Pass rush was a 59. His coverage grade was a 30. So, I mean, but then, you look, I mean, absolutely, last year was really, really bad. He was at 52 in 2023. He was at 59. 2021, it looks like he had a real nice season. Now, I don't know if he was in a different scheme with a different defensive coordinator. Was Robert Saleh there then? Maybe got the best out of him. I don't know. I don't remember, right? But, he graded out at 57. So, I mean, once again, he gives you, he's got some depth. He can come in, right? He can come in and give you some snaps on defense without question. But once again, I mean, a lot of the guys the Giants have been bringing in, right? Not the guys on the offensive line or the defensive line, but a lot of the other guys are good contributors on special teams. So that would be really, really good. Let's see here. All right. So the Giants, free agency, Giants add another reserve linebacker / special teamers. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles signed away from the 49ers. They got Jason Pinnock. We got Fowles, right? Or Foles. Foles or Fowles. It is not the quarterback news the Giants fans have been waiting for, but the Giants did make a move in free agency on Friday. They agreed to terms with the special team reserve linebacker Demetrius Flanagan. Flanagan Fowles, I believe it is, 28. Spent 5 seasons with the 49ers. 6'2", 223-pound linebacker, slot cornerback. Okay, so I mean, 223-pound slot cornerback. That's a big boy, right? Who is known more for his special teams play than his defense. He's played 616 defensive snaps in his career. Never more than 163 in a season. He's played 1,284 special team snaps in 73 regular season games. He has had 7 starts on defense. He is the second reserve linebacker special teamer added by the Giants this week. The other one was Chris Board, another special teams demon, right? Who signed as a free agent from the Ravens. The Giants, Ty Summers and Matthew Adams as backup linebacker special teamers, but both are currently free agents. So we have to keep an eye on that. Do the Giants bring either one of those guys back? Right? Giants in free agency add another reserve linebacker and a special teamer. No, is this the same exact article? Sure looks like it. Yep. Same exact article. So, I mean, once again, guys, he's some depth, right? He give you, if need be, he can play on defense. Not going to play that well, but right, special teams does a very, very good job on. So that's all that is. Plus, also he's on the cheap as well, too, right? So, all right, then we got, speaking of quarterbacks, right? So, good old Russell Wilson came and he went, right? They said he was here last year, came and he went. This year, he went. Now, exactly what happened, what said, right, in their meeting, did they go, Russell, okay, that's really nice, but we're still waiting on Aaron. When Aaron finally shoots us down, right, then we'll come calling, okay? So, who knows, right? I saw, once again, you see different things, right? I saw that Russell wanted like 2 years. I don't blame him. The Giants only wanted to have him for 1 year. I don't blame them there either. It could have, I don't know. So, exactly what to believe, who knows? But Russell Wilson was in the house, and we want to let him go. All right, so Russell Wilson visits the Giants but leaves New York without a contract. First big story after the official start of the new league year was Russell Wilson embarking on his free agent tour. Wilson met with the Browns on Thursday and then went to the Giants on Friday, but left both facilities without a contract, according to NBC Sports. Wilson is a free agent after spending the 2024 season with the Steelers, who have reportedly made a contract offer to Aaron Rodgers. The Giants have also reportedly made an offer to Rodgers, who is still trying to figure out what he will do this season. If Rodgers doesn't pan out, the Giants could turn to the 36-year-old Wilson, who won 6 of his first 7 starts with the Steelers before he and the team finished the 2024 season on a 5-game losing streak. Wilson was named to his 10th Pro Bowl last season. Wow. After throwing 16 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions in 11 regular season games. To be fair, also, my son, right, is a Cowboy fan. I know, go figure, right? But we went out to the Pittsburgh game. Cowboys played in Pittsburgh last year. Wound up being a real good game. It's like a last 20 seconds of the game. It's 4th down. I forgot where it was, at the 2 or 3 yard line. What the heck was the score? I think it was 17-13. Steelers are winning, so it was 4th down. Cowboys went for it, obviously. It was a touchdown or the game's over. Dak hits, I can't remember the dude's name. Dak hits the guy right outside of the end zone. Right, he gets his feet in. Great catch, all that stuff. The Cowboys wound up being a great game. Very exciting game. But, there were times, that when the Steelers offense was on the field, it's kind of like, who the fuck is this team? I mean, it's like, I'm like, they got a winning record. It's like, I was just like shaking my head. It was like really, there was nothing. Really nothing super spectacular about their weapons or anything like that last year. So, when he was in there playing, okay, he did a decent job, right? Although he didn't play the game that I went to. Me and my son went to. Fields played in that game. But the Steelers last year did not really have a plethora of weapons. So whatever Russell Wilson did last year, was he maximized with the minimum, right? Let's see. Wilson's highlights last year included throwing the game-winning touchdown pass to Mike Williams at the end of the Pittsburgh Week 10 win over the Commanders. 3 weeks later, Wilson threw for 414 yards, the second highest total of his career, and 3 touchdowns while leading the Steelers to a road win over the Bengals. Well, that's nice, but the Bengals defense was absolutely pathetic last year. That's why Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, one of the reasons why he got canned. Their defense was just trash. Wilson numbers in Pittsburgh's wild playoff loss to the Ravens were solid as he went 20-29 for 270 yards with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. But he was sacked 3 times and was a non-factor on the ground with just 6 yards on 3 carries. He may not be a long-term solution, but Wilson could serve as a temporary option until the Giants find their long-term starter. In New York, Wilson would be complemented by a solid receiving group led by Malik Neighbors. And Wilson wouldn't be a bad option for the Giants, but until Rodgers makes a decision, the Giants and several other teams, for that matter, will continue to wait before they sign Wilson or any other veteran. It's always the thing is, it's always like, especially with bringing in like a Wilson or something like that, right? They need a quarterback. They go and they sign somebody. You don't want to sign it for too long, because if things really go bad this year for the Giants and Shane and Dable want to get canned, the new regime that comes in is going to want to have, if you sign Wilson like a 3 or 4 year deal, right? They're going to have, the new regime's going to come in and say, well, do we want Russell Wilson to be our quarterback? So that's always going to be a problem, right? If you did, if you got gutsy about it, right, and you had some cojones to you, I'm not saying this is what to do, but if you sign Wilson to a 3 year deal, you can get out after 2, just saying, that will give you another 2 or 3 years to find a quarterback, right? So, it's that way, just in case, I don't know what they're thinking. Is Cam Ward the only quarterback they want? He might be gone before he gets to the Giants. But that way, that would give the Giants like an option, right? And number 3, you take Hunter. If he's there. If not, you take Carter, right? One of those guys, there's a good chance one of them is going to be there, especially if somebody takes Ward. I keep hearing Ward's going. Once again, this is stuff I hear, right? But if Ward's gone, you're guaranteed to have either Hunter or Carter there. You can never have too many edge rushers, pass rushers, / whatever you want. Beef up the freaking defensive line. Go for it. Take Carter if Hunter's gone. If Carter's gone, you got Hunter. You got yourself another cornerback. Oh, my God, right? Not a bad thing to have, but then you also got another freakish athlete on the offensive side as well, too. Right? Could you imagine Malik Neighbors and Hunter out there? And then Wan'Dale Robinson underneath? Wow. Okay. So if you got Wilson there, okay, and now you got 2 really good wide receivers to throw, and then Robinson, right? You got him some weapons to throw the ball to. Okay. Not expecting Wilson to take us to the Super Bowl or nothing, but right. Or sorry, buddy. Or you want to go another route, take somebody else, take the defensive lineman or an offensive, whatever, pick number 3. And you can take a wide receiver in the second round, right? Help with the offense there. So there's a lot of ways to go, but this waiting game is just very brutal, very, very brutal. All right, what we got here? I got another one here. Russell Wilson and the Giants meet as Aaron Rodgers' options seem increasingly unlikely, meaning unlikely to come to the Giants. Russell Wilson visited the Giants on Friday as the Aaron Rodgers option continued to fade into Mercury view. No one can say for sure what Rodgers 41 will choose as he deliberates on his next move between the Giants, Steelers, Vikings, or retirement. But some sources believe, as on Thursday night, that Rodgers to New York seemed unlikely. Others believe that the free agent visits of Joe Flacco and Wilson were a confirmation that the Giants were leaning the same way. And The Athletic reported Friday that Rodgers first was giving Minnesota time to discuss whether they wanted to make him a Viking. Everyone who speaks on Rodgers' futures qualifies their information or belief with some version of the phrase, but you never know with him. That's true. And his house in New Jersey makes the Giants the most convenient fit. So any change or shift or about face is still possible. On Friday, however, Wilson was the quarterback physically in the Giants building, visiting as free agent for the second straight year, with a chance to be the team's Week 1 starter in 2025. And if Wilson doesn't sign, the Giants quarterback search could take some wild turns in the days ahead. Jameis Winston, Cooper Rush, Joe Flacco. Not that signing Wilson would guarantee a promising 2025 for the Giants either. But the 10-time Pro Bowler and Super Bowl champion has a 23-32 record as a starter in the past 4 seasons, 1 in Seattle, 2 in Denver, and 1 in Pittsburgh. Denver benched Wilson in 2023 before he could suffer an injury that would have triggered a $37 million injury guarantee for 2024. Well, I mean, basically what it was is, he came in there and then Peyton didn't want him. Sean Payton didn't want him as the quarterback. So then they released him and ate a huge dead cap hit. The Steelers then only had to pay Wilson a $1.2 million base salary to sign him for the season. So, I mean, I don't know why the Giants, $1.2 million, that's all he would have taken to sign Russell Wilson. We let Daniel Jones go, and we could still have Russell Wilson for $1.2 million. We got Tim Boyle. We're good. Oh, my God. Ironically, the Giants then did the same thing with Jones last fall, benching him and eventually granting his release to avoid triggering a $23 million injury guarantee. Now they're in the market to possibly sign Wilson to try to help them win games in 2025, while also potentially mentoring a rookie quarterback if Joe Schoen picks one in April. As of Friday, though, there were still more questions about the Giants quarterback situation than there were answers. So, one of the things you have to wait and see. Wait and see. But I mean, I said we could have had him last year for $1.2 million. Right? But it is what it is. So I have to wait and see. Hopefully, this week coming up, hopefully we'll get a little more clarity. I mean, there's quarterbacks out there, but I mean, we're talking like, Cooper Rush, Joe Flacco, Carson Wentz, and oh my God, I mean, Jameis Winston, he excites me. We're not going to the Super Bowl, right? But he excites me, right? He'll throw you in a game. He'll also throw you out of a game. But I'll tell you what, the dude's going to throw some balls. He's going to throw some touchdown passes. He's going to move the team up and down the field. He's going to throw for over 300 yards in some games. He's going to get some excitement going in this thing. So we brought Jameis Winston in here. I'm all fine with that. I ain't got no problem with that. As I said, we're not signing. It's not Jameis Winston coming in here. We got him a 10-year contract, signing for $500 million, $50 million a season, 10 years. Okay, Jameis, here's the ball. Take us to the Super Bowl. That's not happening, right? But you bring him in, the guy. As I said, we might lose one game, whatever, 31-28 because he threw 3 interceptions. We might win the next week 31-28 because he threw 4 touchdown passes. Right? So he'll get the ball spinning. He will get the ball spinning without question. So, all right, let's see here. Oh, we got all kinds of stuff here. I mean, so the Giants brought in beefing up the defensive line. Another low-cost signing here, right? Giants add D-line depth with Jeremiah Ledbetter, right? I think he was like I'll read the article, but I don't even think it was like 1.7 million or so. So they're in a lot of depth. You know, I mean, you know, we got a lot of guys on the defensive line. A lot of guys on the defensive line. Do I still have it up here? Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Let me read this. Oh, wait. Let me share my screen here. I present, share screen. Got to give me a second here. There we go. Depth chart. Here we go. Nope. Oh, here we go. Yeah. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot. Okay, here we go. So that's the offense. So we go to the defense. We got a lot of guys on the defensive line. Let me tell you what. Okay. So now they got this the base 3-4. I mean, you know, sometimes I don't even think it's a 3-4. Sometimes we got like 2 defensive linemen. We got the 2 edge rushers. And you got to have like 7 guys in the secondary, right? I mean, the pass happy league, you can't have really this. You can't have a defensive end being Nacho. You can't have Sexy Dexy and DJ Davidson on there, and then Burns, and then Kayvon. You can't have a 5-guy front. You'd have to drop Kayvon or Burns or something like that, and you want those guys rushing the quarterback. You know what I mean? So usually it's like we got 2 defensive linemen. We got Burnsy and Kayvon, right? But if you look, right, I mean, we got a lot of defensive linemen, okay? So under the defensive end category, right, we got Nacho, who could possibly be a cut candidate. We'd wind up saving, you know, a few $1 million if we were to cut him. But we got good old Elijah Chapman, right? We got Elijah Garcia. Then we got Ross Blaylock. Okay, don't forget about him. Then we got some guy by the name of Dexter Lawrence. I would love it if in this draft we could get somebody to put next to him, right? Somebody, you know, really good in the first or second round to put next to him. Then that would give us a nice front defensive wall. Be fantastic. We got Jordan Riley. We got Corey Durden. Right. Then we got DJ Davidson. We got Robertson Harris, Roy Robertson Harris. Then we got Jeremiah Ledbetter. And then we got Casey Rogers. Right. So what do we got? So we got 8. We got 11 defensive linemen as of right now. Okay. So we got, you know, we got some defensive linemen now. I mean, it's like, you know, I'm not jumping for joy. You know, it's not like, whew, we got Dexter Lawrence, and then man, we got like, it's got to be 5 or 6 other all pros on them. We got Dexter Lawrence, and then we got like 10 other guys like down here in the bottom of the screen, right there. Yeah, so, right. So I would love to get somebody next to Sexy. Right, while he's still in his prime, this is going to be his 7th season. Now he's still riding high, right? Somewhere along the line, you know, he's going to start kind of descending, right? You know, let's get somebody else in there, right? Yeah, put next to him while Sexy's still in his prime. But all right, here we go. So we got Jeremiah Ledbetter. According to the reports, the Giants have agreed to terms of veteran defensive lineman Jeremiah Ledbetter, pending a physical. After entering the NFL as a 6th-round pick in 2017, the 30-year-old has played 53 games with 5 starts for the Lions, Buccaneers, and the Jaguars. Ledbetter also spent time in the practice squads of the Ravens and Cardinals. So he's been around. This would be what, his 6th team? So you got the Lions, the Bucs, the Jaguars, the Giants, right? The Ravens and the Cardinals. It would be a 6th team. So that should also tell you something, too. Right? Of course, his 6-year career, the 6'3", 299-pound lineman has registered 3.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, 12 quarterback hits, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 pass defense to go with 80 total tackles, 36 solo tackles. Ledbetter is coming off his best season of his career with the Jaguars as he set new career highs with 2 sacks and 38 total tackles, including 8 tackles for loss in 15 games. He began his collegiate career at Hutchinson Community College, where he was named second team NJCAA All-American as a sophomore in 2014. Ledbetter then transferred to Arkansas, where he compiled 104 tackles, including 15 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks in 26 games. He lined up at both defensive tackle and defensive end during his time with the Razorbacks. All right, let's see here. Giants add another interior defensive lineman in free agency as they continue to address an area that hurt them last year. So, I mean, they obviously, they got all these guys. All these guys aren't even going to be on the practice squad. You know what I'm saying? You can't have 11 defensive linemen on the 53 and the practice squad. So some of these guys aren't making the team. But and we still only have like 60 or so guys signed. So that means you're going to easily have another probably 2 or 3 defensive linemen thrown in the mix here. So some of these guys aren't even going to make the team. But Giants continue to add to their trenches on Friday, signing, okay, here we go, veteran Jeremiah Ledbetter to a 1-year deal worth $1.775 million that could top over $2 million with incentives. What the incentives are, don't know. Ledbetter began his career in the 6th round, pick number 205 by the Lions in 2017. He was with the Lions for 1 season before moving on to the Bucs for the 2018 to 2020 seasons. Ledbetter began at part of the Bucs Super Bowl championship team. Good for him. 2021, he was briefly with the Cardinals before landing with the Jaguars for that season. Ledbetter, 6'3", 299 pounds, has appeared in 53 regular season games. Ledbetter was also a regular special teams contributor for the Jags the last 2 seasons, playing in 15% and 18% of their special team snaps in 2023 and 2024. According to his PFF scouting report, Ledbetter played 3 technique and edge, and his best fit is that of a base end who kicks inside in the nickel. His signing is clearly to shore up the defensive line depth. Now, once again, to shore it up, I mean, the guy may not even make the team, but, well, we'll have to wait and see. But last year, okay, with the Jaguars, okay, he graded out at a 63 overall. Not bad. Defensive grades, according to PFF, that's all I'm going by. Last year with the Jaguars, he graded out at 63. The year before that with the Jaguars, he graded out at 49. 2022 with the Jaguars, he graded out at 63, but he only played in 11 defensive snaps. With the Buccaneers in 2020, he graded out at 78.3, but he only played in 54 snaps. 2018, he only played in 17 defensive snaps. His rookie season with the Lions, he played 349 defensive snaps. He graded out at 59. So last year with the Jaguars, he had 441 snaps. He had 8 total pressures. He had 2 sacks. Okay, so, quite possibly, I mean, he had some good games last year. Once again, these are PFF grades. That's all I'm going by. Against New England, he graded out a 72.6. Against Green Bay, he graded out a 74.8. He had graded out a 63 in one game, a 61, a 64, a 70, a 62, a 62, a 66, a 67. So he had some good games last year. Now, he obviously last year with the Jets, he was obviously situational. I mean, he played in like 20 to 30 to 40 snaps. Last year, his most snaps he played in a game was against Detroit, week 11. He played 44 snaps. His least against Tennessee, week 14, he played 18 snaps. But, I mean, he played 26, 33, 23, 24, 44, 38, 40, 40. So, right? So, without question, he can certainly give you some snaps. He can give you some reps, right? Once again, last season, he didn't do too bad. Not too bad at all. Now, once again, why? One year he's up here, next year he's down here. So it is what it is. Will he make the team? Who knows? But once again, he's got some good, he's got some experience. He can give you some reps, that's for sure. And once again, $1.775 million. Right? Hard to argue with that. So Giants are, their certainly beefing up their, here we go. their defensive line. I mean, they've done the same thing with their offensive line as well, too. They brought in a bunch of guys. All right, okay, here we go. Here we go. This one here. This one, you always look back, think, what if, right? What happened, right? What? I mean, because with this here, it was the year Patrick Mahomes was coming out. Ben McAdoo, right? When he saw film of Patrick Mahomes, right? He something along the lines. He said something like, "God damn, can't wait if I could get my hands on this guy." He saw Patrick Mahomes, his college tape and all that. Well, the Giants didn't want to trade up far enough to get Patrick Mahomes, right? Kind of what they were kind of doing was they were trying to get like lightning in a bottle. As Eli was, his career was kind of winding down. That's why, they drafted OBJ, right, in 2014. 2017, they drafted Evan Ingram, right? Then they had some dude by the name of Saquon Barkley in 2018, which is what we're going to talk about with Josh Allen here, right? So they're kind of like, man, maybe we'll get him some weapons because, I mean, you look at it. I mean, Evan Ingram was, could be a real mismatch. I mean, he had some, 1 year with the Jaguars, he had over 100 receptions. So the guy can get open, the guy can catch the ball, of course, but Peterson, the coach of the Jaguars at the time, the tight ends were huge for him. The tight ends were huge when he was in Philadelphia. Tight ends were huge when he was in Jacksonville. So that's just the way he schemed stuff up. But I mean, when we had OBJ, right? I mean, he does not have the most receptions, and Giants said blah 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 blah. But the dude's a freak, right? And we had Saquon. Guy was pretty good, right? And then Evan, so we drafted some offensive weapons to try to help Eli, right? It was never like, hey, let's draft Eli's replacement, right? Until we got to Daniel Jones, and we know what happened there, right? But it was always like, drafting like Eli's replacement, but let's draft him in the third or fourth round. Guys that probably ain't going to be able to, replace Eli. So we kept bringing in these offensive guys and all that to try to maybe get some lightning in the bottom. Maybe Eli can get us on one more run and we can make one more Super Bowl run, and But unfortunately, as I said, McAdoo had eyes from Mahomes. I mean, this goes back. Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name, but the year Brady came out. Ernie Accorsi. I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy brought up a couple times Ernie Accorsi. They brought up this guy. Said, "Is seen anybody we can maybe take in the later round or something like that?" And guy said, "This guy Tom Brady might be able to help us out." And for some reason, Ernie Accorsi didn't listen to him. And the rest is, imagine how many Super Bowls we would have won if we had Tom Brady. But anyway. But, so we've had chances, to draft, these unbelievable quarterbacks, right? Well, this latest one here, obviously with Josh Allen, was, Shermer, right, didn't really want Saquon because, but right? I mean, Gettleman was the one drafting, and Gettleman was probably, helping Eli maybe get a little lightning in the bottle. Let's take this guy, Saquon, right? But if you read this article here, there we go. Shermer was, maybe not all for it, shall we say. Pat Shermer, Josh Allen was nearly a New York Giant in 2018. Wow. Man. Oh my God. Former Giants coach dishes on his tenure with the team, as well as Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter in an exclusive interview. An exclusive interview with Big Blue View arranged to discuss top NFL draft prospects. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter of Colorado, former New York Giants coach Pat Shermer dropped a bombshell. He said that if the Giants had passed on Saquon Barkley at number 2 in the 2018 NFL draft and selected a quarterback, it would have been reigning NFL MVP Josh Allen. Had we not drafted Saquon, the quarterback that I felt like we should have drafted was Josh Allen, Shermer told Big Blue View. We took Saquon, who we felt was the best player in the draft, obviously, overall, right? Sure. With the number 2 pick. In the next year, we were looking, now it was time. We needed to get a quarterback, right? We had a Hall of Fame player in Eli Manning that was near the end, and so we needed to get a guy. And that year, it came down to Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins, right? And, of course, he puts in, God rest Haskin, right? Shame. And so we took Daniel, and then as an organization, we picked those players for the right reasons. Saquon was Rookie of the Year, had the same number of touchdowns that year as he had this year, right? And obviously the arrow was up on him. Played Daniel his second year because of all his attributes. And you have to say after his first year, the arrow was up on him, Daniel Jones. Shermer, of course, got fired by the Giants after the 2019 season. He never got a chance to finish the work he started with Jones. And with Jones is now a journeyman, hoping to beat out Anthony Richardson for the starting job with the Indianapolis Colts. But, you also got to realize, though, how much different might the Giants' fortunes in recent years been if Allen, clearly one of the game's top 5 quarterbacks, was calling MetLife Stadium home. Could you imagine that? Right? Well, let's not forget, right? Daniel Jones, 2019, his first year. Shermer's last year, right? When he took that, he had 24 touchdown passes, 12 interceptions. He had about 342 fumbles. I get that. But he had 24 touchdown passes. He hasn't even come close to that in any other year. And as a matter of fact, he played in 13 games his rookie season. He played like one drive in the Cowboy game early in the season, very early in the season, right? What was it, the second week of the season, whatever it was? We were getting blown out like 312-0. And so they put Daniel Jones in there for like a drive, I think it was. So he accounted for playing in a game, but he didn't throw a touchdown pass in that game. But the 12 games he started, right, Daniel Jones had 24 touchdown passes, averaged 2 touchdowns a game. And then of course, there's also this other stat, which, none, right? With Pat Shermer, the coach, calling the plays, right? Daniel Jones, right, said it. Nobody's ever done it. It's 3 games, I think, of 300 or 350 passing yards, and 4 with no interceptions, 4 touchdown passes. Let me see if I can get this up here. All right, let's see here. Oh, let's see here. Oh, there we go. All right, next season here. I forgot exactly what it was here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull his games up here. He started 30. He was in 13 games, started 12. All right, I gotta pull it, but let's see. Daniel Jones. Let's see here. Nope. Sports track, contract salary, Indianapolis Colts. Does stats pop up here? Nope. Okay, great to see you all. Well, I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was. Okay, here we go. 2019. The Giants. It's gonna pop. The game's gonna pop up here. Okay, we're passing. See all recent games. Okay, let's see. Is this it? No, it's not. Damn. Oh, well. Anyway, all right, instead of spending 5.5 years trying to, but Daniel Jones, all right, has a record that no other quarterback is. He has 3 games in his rookie season where he has like 4 touchdowns. I was 4 passing touchdowns. I know he had like 4 against the Jets, 4 against the Lions, or something like that. 300 and 350 yards and no interceptions in 3 games in his rookie season. No other quarterback's done that with no interceptions. It's been done once or so before. I know Frank Tarkenton did it, but one of the games Frank Tarkenton had an interception. 3 of those games, Daniel Jones had no interceptions. And no other quarterback in NFL history. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, right? They've done that. Daniel Jones did that in his rookie season with Pat Shurmur as the coach. Now, of course, Pat Shurmur, good offensive mind, not a very good coach. He was 9-23 in 2 years with Cleveland. So, of course, we hire him. Of course, he'll be better. He was 9-23 in 2 seasons with the Giants. So he's what is that? He was 18-46 in 4 years of coaching. So he's not a coach. He's not a head coach, but very, very good offensive mind. And I tell you what, he got the fantastic results out of Daniel Jones. I said, he had a hard time holding the ball. Every time he got hit, he seemed like he fumbled it. He threw 12 interceptions, but he got some fantastic results out of Daniel Jones. And it looked like it was on the way up. But then Shurmur got canned, right? We brought Joe Judge in with, the offense that we had there. And it was just a nightmare ever since. But could you imagine if Shurmur, right, if they drafted, instead of drafting Saquon Barkley, right, take Josh Allen. The thing is, sometimes you just got to, if you're within a year or so or a couple of years, if you got a chance to take, hopefully we start, some of these teams, or especially the Giants, start learning this, right? You got a chance to take the quarterback. And even if he sits there for whatever, take the quarterback. Because you see what a problem the Giants are in, right? We're like they're just, Aaron, you want to play for, or Matthew Stafford? Matthew, here's all this money. You want to play for? No. Oh, okay, we'll go to we'll try to find somebody else. All right, thank you. And they go to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron, you want to play for it? No, you want to play with the Vikings? Oh, okay, all right, we'll try to find something. Right? I mean, now you got to draft one of these quarterbacks, maybe, right? And hope one of them turns out to be good, right? So, if the Giants ever, somewhere in the next 300,000 years, ever actually get a quarterback, a good quarterback, when it starts coming toward the end of his career, I don't mean let's wait for the last year, let's wait for him to retire. No, if he's got 2-3 years left, even 3 years, and you got a chance to draft a backup quarterback or somebody to take us, you draft them. Don't be waiting. What do they say? This is quarterback purgatory or something like that, just like every year. Since 2019, every year. And once again, seems like we might be screwed once again. Right? You're gonna maybe bring in a veteran quarterback, maybe to hold the torch for a year or something, whatever, and then draft somebody and hope the guy comes in and winds up being good. I heard a lot of good things about Ward. And he may not be there for the Giants at number 3, unless the Giants trade up. But then you hear a lot of things about Shedeur Sanders that he's not worthy of a top 3 pick. So, what do you do, right? The Giants might be going another season trying to get a quarterback, and it's almost impossible, right, to go far if you don't have a quarterback. And the Giants, once again, don't have a quarterback. But one thing they do have, plenty of offensive linemen. Oh, yeah. They brought back a couple of guys, right? Good old Mr. Aaron Stinney. Right? And we're going to talk in just about another couple of minutes here. We're going to want to talk about another guy Giants brought back. Let's see, here we go. Is that it? Okay. Good old Aaron Stinney. Guard Aaron Stinney returns to New York. The Giants continue to add depth to their offensive line. Now, the Giants obviously were in the guard market, but Fries went to Minnesota. The Giants were, trying to sign the guy from Kansas City. He got tagged. Fries. So I mean, there's still guys out there. It doesn't mean the Giants, yeah. But I'll tell you what, if the Giants bring in Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson or something like that, they're gonna have to do some configuring with the numbers. Let me tell you what, because we only got like $40 some odd million to spend. The Giants have seemed to almost spend that already, and plus they got to sign our draft class too. So we're gonna have to do some stuff for the numbers, that's for sure. But a lot of the guys we are bringing back are on the cheap. Okay. Giants have signed guard Aaron Stinney to a 1-year deal, per a report from Jeremy Fowler. Stinney, a 7-year vet, played 16 games with 3 starts for New York last season. He's 31, and a 7-year vet has played in 25 games since 2018 with 12 starts. 3 of those starts came last year for the Giants at left guard, filling in for injured John Runyon Jr. Stinney became the Giants' starting left guard for the final 3 games of the year after Runyon's season was ended with a high ankle sprain. He was serviceable depth at the position, surrendering 2 quarterback hits and 5 hurries, but no sacks over his final 193 snaps per PFF. So, offensive line depth was a problem for the Giants in 2025, and the Giants had taken a number of steps in free agency to fill out their depth chart. Giants have signed James Hudson III and Stone Forsythe as offensive tackle depth, and both those guys can be swing tackles. So we got like Hudson, we got Forsythe, we got Neal, we got Illuminor, we got Andrew Thomas. Right, so we got a lot of tackles. And also, I'm going to be talking about another guy they just brought back as well, too. We re-signed, obviously, Aaron Stinney. Giants have agreed to terms with veteran guard Aaron Stinney, who will return to East Rutherford for his 2nd season. Let's see. Stinney signed with the Tennessee Titans as a rookie free agent out of James Madison in 2018. He spent 1+ season with the team before joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2019, when he was claimed off of waivers, where he picked up a Super Bowl championship. Good for him. After 3+ seasons with the Bucs, Stinney signed a free agent deal with the Giants last March. Stinney has appeared in 47 career games with 15 starts, almost all of that time spent at left guard. However, he did see time at right guard earlier in his career. In 2024, Stinney earned an overall grade of 47.9 from Pro Football Focus, including a 56.4 passing block grade and a 50.5 run blocking grade. So, not super spectacular numbers. Let's see what we got here. Okay, good. All right. Yeah. But I mean, for his career, I mean, he's never, let's see. Well, let me share my screen here. I don't know. Share my screen. All right, here we go. And we'll show you. I mean, that doesn't have super spectacular numbers. Once again, this is Aaron Stinney. All right. Now, last year, right. I got him played in 4 games. Right. Oh, yeah, because this is his blocking grade. Okay. That's 4 games. All left guard. John Runyon Jr. got injured, right? So he played 44 snaps against the Saints, 68 against the Ravens, 56 against the Colts, and 25 against the Eagles, right? But I mean, you look. I mean, right? And the Eagles had their backups in there, and he graded out of 43 against the Colts, 43. And the Colts don't have we're not talking the fearsome foursome there with the Colts. Graded out of 43. Against the Ravens, he graded out of 50. Saints, he did good he had graded out of 70. But if you notice, I mean, This is the big thing. According to PFF, he allowed no sacks. He gave up 2 hits, 5 hurries. So he gave up grand total 7 pressures. 4 of them came against what? Against the Ravens. So in his 4 games, right? One of them he gave up 4 pressures. The other 3 games he gave up like 1 pressure, right? But you just noticing the grades here are just not super spectacular, right? Same thing here, right? I mean, again, in Tampa Bay, 2023, he played 851 snaps. He ran a 56.5, and he only gave up 3 sacks. Pretty good. So the guy, I mean, his career, I mean, actually only gave up 5 sacks, okay, in almost 1,400 snaps. Pretty good. See, 2021, he played 102 snaps. He graded out of 54. 2020, his first year with Tampa Bay, he graded 231 snaps, graded 57. 2019, 57 snaps. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, just once again, just he's some depth. Once again, we got a lot of guys. Yeah, a lot of guys on. Let me see. Let me show you here. Let's see here. All right, I gotta find this again here. Where is that? Nope. Nope. Did I cancel out of it? Free agency, depth, free agency. Oh, here we go. There we go. I mean, got a lot of guys. All right, so that's the defensive side, but here the offensive side, right? Okay, so you got, right? So we got left tackle, left guard, center, right guard, right tackle. So you got Illuminor, Van Roten, Schmitz, Runyon, Thomas. Then you got Hudson, Stinney, Schlotman, Schlotman, or Schlutman. I've heard him pronounced all 3 names. Jake Kubis, Stone Forsythe, Evan Neal, Jimmy Morrissey, Azudu. And you got Hudson, okay. Right. So he's a backup, he's a center. But I mean, you'll notice we got what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We got 13 guys. Right. 13 guys as of right now, offensive linemen. You dress maybe what, like 8 for the game. You might have 3 or so maybe on the practice squad. So I mean, plus might draft somebody. You're going to bring other guys in. So obviously we're going to bring in plenty other offensive linemen. But as of right now, we got quite a few offensive linemen, right? But one thing we were looking for. We obviously we're in the guard market now. Of course, the first couple guys we brought in were tackles, swing tackles. Okay, but the Giants were out there in the market trying to bring in a guard. Okay, still doesn't mean it hasn't happened, or I'm sorry, won't happen. Right? There are some guards out there. Maybe the Giants might spend a little bit of money on a guard. We'll have to wait and see. But they did wind up bringing back Mr. Van Roten here. Okay. Now he played all the offensive snaps for the Giants last year. Didn't do too bad. Brought him back on the cheap. Okay. So now maybe, as of right now, maybe he is the starting right guard. We'll have to wait and see what they try to think they're going to do with Evan Neal. I would love to see them bring him up, go in a guard. Let's see what happens. Right? I mean, I said, look what the Eagles did with Mekhi Becton. Now, once again, the Eagles have a fantastic. Jeff Stoutland is a very good offensive line coach for the Eagles. Very good. They took Mekhi Becton, put him inside. Did pretty good. Right? So let's do the same thing with Evan Neal. Try him. What do you got to lose, right? I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, anyway. All right, you got it? Okay, so Giants re-signing veteran guard Greg Van Roten. Giants general manager Joe Schoen made a strong play for Will Fries and shopped near the top of the guard market, but ultimately he came up empty-handed. He tried, but I'm not sure what happened with Fries, but he chose the Vikings. Don't know. Contracts being handed out were deemed too steep, forcing the Giants to reevaluate their options. One of the few remaining options was a familiar face, Greg Van Roten. On Wednesday night, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported that the Giants and Van Roten were working to finalize a deal that would return him to East Rutherford for the second straight season. I'm cool with that, man. Last year's starter returns for more action at the age of 35. Now, let's not forget, Kevin Zeitler's still out there, too. He'll give you, he's 35 as well, too. And he wouldn't be that expensive. The decision to re-sign Van Roten is a curious one, given that Schoen told reporters at the 2025 NFL Combine in Indianapolis, right guard is a spot that's open, and we'll talk about is the answer somebody on the roster, or do we need to look outside for that, Schoen said at the time. Schoen made it rather clear that the team intended to upgrade the right guard position, indicating that although Van Roten played admirably, they targeted that as an area to address, even considering it a priority. But that's not how the cookie crumbled. Sometimes the cookie crumbles the wrong way. Van Roten signed with the Giants last season, inked his deal on July 31st, and reuniting him with former Las Vegas Raiders teammate Jermaine Illuminor and position coach Carmen Basilio. At the age of 35 and in his 10th season, Van Roten went on to start all 17 games for the Giants and was the only offensive player to take every single snap, 1,125. He played the first 15 games at right guard and then slid over to center, right? Remember that? When John Michael Schmitz got injured. 2024, Van Roten earned an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 63.4. That's not too bad, considering when, a lot of times you have all these different starting offensive lines in there. It's tough to get any kind of cohesion going on. So 63.4. At what we paid for the guy at 34 years old, he graded a 63.4. Can't complain, including a pass blocking grade of 64.9 and a run blocking grade of 62.3. He committed 5 penalties and allowed 7 sacks. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right, is this the last one here? All right, Greg Van Roten returns to New York. The Giants perused the free agent guard market during the first few days of the NFL free agency and decided to go right back where they started to fill in the right guard spot. Van Roten, who started 17 games for the Giants, is reportedly finalizing a deal to return to the Giants for a second season. The 35-year-old Van Roten signed with the Giants last August and spent most of the season starting at right guard. A Rockville Center native, Van Roten gets to continue his career more or less playing at home. After entering the league as an undrafted free agent in 2012, Van Roten did not earn a full-time starting job until 2018 as a member of the Carolina Panthers roster. 2012. Van Roten has started every game the past 2 seasons. In 2023, the Raiders, and last season with the Giants, he played more than 1,000 snaps in each season. The only other time he played that many snaps was in 2018. With the return of Van Roten, the offensive line that began the 2024 season for the Giants is back intact. So the line is obviously left tackle, Andrew Thomas. Left guard, John Runyon Jr. Center, John Michael Schmitz. Van Roten at right guard, and Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle. The line played well until injuries forced shuffling and exposed inadequate depth. It is still possible, of course, that the Giants had a younger starting right guard. Van Roten would make excellent interior line depth. Yes, he would. That ends up being the case. Oh, he would be fantastic, especially as some depth. Yes. Giants have added a pair of tackles, James Hudson III and Stone Forsythe, for depth. It also seems likely they will add to the offensive line in the 2025 NFL draft. Now, that's definitely always without question. I mean, you should always try to add to the defensive line, add to the secondary, and add to the offensive line. Now, of course, just because you add to the offensive line doesn't mean the guy's going to be a starter or a star. But you got to keep putting some pieces in at least try to get some depth in there. But especially because the Giants did not add any offensive line depth last season. Right? So it would be huge to try to do it this season. The one thing is that the Giants just don't seem to do very well is that, developing their guys, their offensive linemen that they draft. A lot of guys. Right? You draft like a Zudu. Have we developed him? McKeithen's gone. So we bring guys in and it just, right? So you can never feel all nice, warm, and fuzzy about drafting somebody in the third round. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well, if he doesn't start, we'll develop him. So in the second or third season or something, he'll put him in there and he'll be good to. No, it's like we draft a guy and it's like either you put him in there and it's one or the other. It's like put him in there. It's like guy's pretty good, or well, guy sucks. The guy sucks. It's like just throw him out because we can't develop anybody, right? So you got to keep adding to the offensive line. It's very, very important. But at least the Giants, they did function pretty well as an offensive line unit before once again injuries started derailing, right, the team. And I said, at the end, by the time the season was all over with and everything, we wind up having 10 different starting offensive line units, and that's a recipe for disaster. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 31 minutes. Vinny G, man, good talking to you, brother. All right. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.